I'm Jennifer Mendenhall here with my friend Vicki Selkirk from Lemoore, and she's a consecrated virgin, the first one of the Diocese of Fresno. Hello, Vicki. Thank you for being with us this evening.
Hi, Jennifer. It's my honor.
So tell us about your vocation, your job. What is it that you live out in your day-to-day life?
Okay, so I am a consecrated virgin living in the world. That's the official title. It is actually the oldest form of consecrated life in existence in our church. So it's been around since, well, Mary was the first consecrated virgin. And then in 380 AD, women began consecrating their lives fully to Jesus Christ. Several of our saints, St. Agatha, St. Agnes, St. Lucy, all of them were the first consecrated virgins of the church. And the vocation lives on to present day. I had been discerning this vocation for 11 years before I was bestowed this sacramental by our bishop. So it's kind of the fulfillment of something that's been in progress for many years for me and a tremendous source of blessing. So I'm very grateful.
Wow, so it's been quite a journey for 11 years. Wow.
It has been, definitely. A lot of discernment. And it's been a little bit of a challenge just because it's one of the rarer forms of consecrated life and one of the rarer vocations in the church. There are only about 300 of us in the country, so there aren't a whole lot of resources available for women discerning the vocation, which is something I hope to at some point augment or add to, so that the other women that possibly are discerning a call to this vocation will have some resources available to them.
So do you have a job, or does the church pay you, or how does that work?
That's a really good question, one that I get asked pretty frequently. Negative. I am, by definition, a consecrated virgin living in the world. What is distinct about our vocation is that we live in the world. So we don't wear a habit per se. We don't wear a veil or any distinctive clothing. We live amongst the world, the people, and that is our witness. So I go about my regular daily job. I'm a naval officer, and I witness in small ways in my daily life. I happen to be a healthcare provider, so there are many ways, of course, to serve people and witness to Jesus Christ, particularly an apostolate of mercy for patients and caring for patients through my job. So I'm really blessed in that sense. I don't get paid by the church. However, I am under the authority of the bishop, who's considered my spiritual father. So that is my direct line of authority as a consecrated virgin.
All right, thank you. So what would happen if you fell in love with someone?
That's a really good question, and another one that I get asked pretty frequently. People ask, well, if someone comes along that you fall in love with and you want to marry, what would you do? And I explain to them that by definition with my vocation, I'm already considered married. And if you found the bridegroom of your dreams, in my case, Jesus Christ, how could you consider anything beyond that? It's the pinnacle of everything that you would want in a spouse. So it's kind of a silly question if you think of it, really, because if you were married to, say, an earthly spouse, would you think, well, what would happen if you meet someone else further down the line? Of course, you're not going to abandon your spouse, and neither will I abandon mine.
Thank you. So what are your obligations as a consecrated virgin?
So as a consecrated virgin living in the world, it's to witness daily for Christ in my work, and also through incessant prayer. So I am responsible for praying for our diocese and for our bishop and our clergy, as well as our lay. I participate in the office, the daily prayer of the church. So it's another of my responsibilities, and of course living up to the promises that I took during my consecration, which is to live out a life of chastity and witness of Jesus Christ.
So what is the most challenging part?
I think in my circumstance, the most challenging component to the whole situation has been the fact that I am a member of the United States Navy, and at times it can be very difficult to reconcile my religious life with my occupation. The military is a place where I think there's a lot of opportunity to witness for chastity and there unfortunately is not a very deep understanding of the essentiality of a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. So although it's a challenge to reconcile my military life and my religious life, it's one that I embrace because there are just so many opportunities, and I feel like God has placed me in a position that I can do tremendous good if He should so make it possible.
So are your parents supportive of your vocation?
My parents are very supportive of my vocation. I'm very blessed. When I first told them of how I felt called, which was actually right after I found out Bishop was going to be consecrating me, they had no idea that I had been discerning it all of these years. They struggled a little to understand the vocation because you don't really hear a whole lot about the vocation, which always it seems so mind-boggling to me because it's our oldest form of consecrated life. But when my parents learned more about it and understood the charism of the vocation and what it represents, they became truly supportive in every sense. I don't think my consecration would have been nearly as much of a blessing as it turned out to be had my parents not been present and participatory in it. So I'm very grateful, and they continue to be very supportive of me.
Wonderful. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight, so enjoy the rest of your youth group. I'm Jennifer, and this is Vicki. Thank you, and good night.